Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to the live stream. Happy Sunday. This is the Dream Clairvoyant. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. I do have a powerful message for you guys on this beautiful Sunday. Let's just wait a couple more seconds for more people to join. You guys know I always do these live streams quite spontaneously, but that's okay because I leave them up for anyone to watch when they have the time. For those of you who are new to the channel, yes, the screen is intentionally blacked out. That's just how we do live streams here. It's not our regular readings where you see the cards. So just relax, sit back, and listen to the message that I will be relaying to you. Hi, everyone. Hello. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. How are you guys doing? I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys. Hello. I'm seeing all of your wonderful comments. Go ahead and come on in. Oh, yes, that live reading last night, even though I did it, I did it like towards midnight, man, it blew up. People loved it. I'm so happy that you guys resonated with the message and that it was helpful to you guys. So let's just go ahead and get started. For those of you who are just now coming in, feel free to go to the very beginning. But I want to talk to you guys about tactics of spiritual warfare, specifically some of the ways that you can tackle, right? Tackle spiritual warfare. Okay. The truth is there was a quote from someone. I don't remember who said this, but they said the battle is ours, but the war is God's, right? And what does that mean? The battle is ours, but truly this war is not it's not ours, right? And I do agree with that quote. I do, because we are the ones who are on the battlefield, right? We're the ones who are encountering these troubled people, places, and things. But may we never forget that it's not our war. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys about some of the things that you can do when facing spiritual warfare, specifically when you're dealing with troublesome people. Okay, when you're dealing with troublesome people, when you're dealing with those who carry that serpent spirit, right, which is the spirit of the devil. It is a lying spirit. When someone carries when someone carries a serpent spirit, they are like a snake. They're sneaky, they're conniving, they're cunning, they're corrupt, they're manipulative, they're deceitful, right? They orchestrate, they plot, they scheme, they sabotage, okay? That's what a serpent spirit is, okay? Sort of like the biblical story of Adam and Eve, right? How the serpent in the garden manipulated her into sinning, right? And what do we do when we encounter people with this spirit, right? Because it resides in many people, okay? And specifically, it resides in people who have control issues. Last night, I did a video about the spirit of Jezebel, which is truly a spirit that stems from control, wanting to control, wanting to possess someone, a person, place, or thing, you know. And same goes for this serpent spirit. Okay. Same goes for this serpent spirit. All right. Where you have people who want control, they forcefully want things. Okay. And so they manipulate. What does it mean to manipulate? To manipulate is to make something that's not supposed to be a particular way, but you make it that particular way to suit you, to fulfill your wants and desires, right? Okay. To manipulate is like to change something that's not meant to be a particular way. So you have to manipulate, twist, and turn it to fit your own agenda. Okay. So as we're in this battle and we're encountering people who are suffering from this spirit, right? The battle is ours, but the war is God's. And what do I mean by that? We're the ones who are encountering these people. One second, you guys. We're the ones we're the ones who are encountering these people in the flesh, right? As we're here on earth in the physical realm, we're encountering people in the physical. So that's what I meant by the battle is ours. Okay? But the war is God's. And what do I mean by that? Is the spirit that they carry, the spirit that these troublesome people carry, many of us, we don't see it, is a spiritual war, right? And God is the divine spirit. So the spiritual aspect of it, it's only God who we can turn to help us fight this spiritual war. But what do we do when we encounter people who are hosting these spirits? Does that make sense, you guys? Right? So the physical aspect of it is what we are encountering. It is what we have to deal with, right? The physical aspect. So earth is a physical realm. So truly spirits have no power here on earth. The earth belongs to man, the physical body. So what spirits have to do, these demonic spirits have to do, they have to find a medium, a host, someone to reside in. They have to find a physical body to reside in order to get the work done. Right? So in a way, it's like these demonic spirits, they have to find a person who will be willing to do the dirty work. Is this making sense, you guys? So in a way, as we're here on earth in the physical, in a way, the battle is ours because we're living amongst these people. We're encountering them. But the spiritual part of it, it is not ours. We turn to God to handle that because He is the divine spirit. Okay? So, how do we encounter the physical aspect? How do we encounter this, the physical aspect of this, as in the people who these spirits are residing in? We call them, we have names for them. We have names for the people who these spirits reside in. We call them liars. We call them fake. We call them pathological liars. We call them narcissists. We call them psychopaths, sociopaths, right? We call them two-faced, two-tongued. We have names for them. Here in the physical, we have names for them. We call them cheaters. We call them manipulators. We call them scammers, right? We have names for them. We have names for these spirits who are in a physical body. Okay? Because we're looking at, it's almost like you're looking at a spirit in the physical. So that's why biblically we're taught we don't wrestle with these sorts of people in the flesh. We don't wrestle. A true, powerful, divine person, a true child of God, what are you doing wrestling with these people in the flesh, getting out of character, ruining your reputation, making yourself look crazy, shouting at them and this, fighting and, you know, that's what they want. Children of God are high ranking. What are you doing being a high ranking child of God fighting with a low level demon? Those low level demonic spirits that you can just crush, just step on, kick around. Right? So, how do we encounter these spirits that are in the body of a person? By simply speaking the truth. Right? By by simply speaking the truth. And remember that the truth is light. Every time you speak the truth, you're shining a light on what is hidden. So what was hidden can no longer thrive. I've said this so many times. I've said this so many times on the channel. Bear with me, you guys. I'm trying to concentrate. I've said this so many times on the channel that darkness cannot overcome light. It cannot overcome it. It cannot destroy it. So when you speak the truth, you are in the light. We talked about this in another video where I quoted a biblical verse, and it was the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That is why you should never that is why you should never be afraid to speak the truth, because once you speak the truth, you are in the light. And once you're in the light, you are divinely protected. Darkness cannot overcome you. The light is the truth. The light and the truth, they are synonymous. They're the same. 1 John 1 verse 7 says, "The light is the truth." These are all scriptures that I'm quoting. 1 John 1 verse 7, "The light is the truth." God's word is truth. We have to walk in the light as he is in the light. The light is the truth. And when you're in the light, you're protected. When you're in the light, God is with you. In the presence of God, there is light. In the absence of God, there is darkness. So when you always speak the truth and stand for the truth, you're standing for God. You're standing in the light. You are in his presence. You are protected. Nothing is going to happen to you. The light is the truth. So when we encounter these sorts of people, who carry this serpent spirit, they like to thrive. I'm getting somewhere with this, you guys. They like to thrive in darkness. They like to do things behind closed doors. They like to lie, to hide the truth. Everything they do is hidden. Everything they do, it's a matter of hiding. Everything that they do, it's a matter of hiding. It's a matter of doing things in the dark. It's a matter of doing things when people aren't looking. So if the truth is the light, how else can we encounter these people if not speaking the truth? To shine a light on what they're hiding, to shine a light on what they're doing when no one is looking, to shine a light on what's kept in darkness. The only weapon that we use against these people, it's the truth. That's why many times when you are a truth speaker, people cannot stand you. You don't understand why they don't like you. They're intimidated. Because if you speak the truth, it exposes them. You know, when you speak the truth, it exposes them. That's your only weapon. That's the only weapon you need in this type of spiritual warfare, in this battle here. When we encounter these demonic spirits who are thriving in people, flesh and body. Every time you speak the truth, you illuminate their darkness. And you don't just illuminate it, you don't just shine the light on it. That light eliminates it. Every time the truth is spoken, the lies are diminished. So that's why I say on the channel all the time, when you speak the truth, it illuminates darkness. The light illuminates darkness, and the light also eliminates darkness. So if there's lies that are going around and you speak the truth, those lies get shut down. Clarity is brought to the situation. Right? Even those who were once in the dark, now because of your truth, now because they heard the truth, those who were being manipulated. Right? Imagine the people who were being manipulated and kept in the dark because you shine a light. You speak the truth, you shine the light. Now they are aware. Now they can come out of darkness. That's the only tool, that's the only weapon when encountering this particular kind of spiritual warfare. Right? So may your light shine on their darkness for them to see what needs to be changed. Many times, those of you who carry this divine light, you will be put amongst people who are dark, who have darkness in them. right? It's science. It's science. It's simple science. It is not just a spiritual thing, right? Darkness is attracted to light. Literally, it's even a matter of physics. You know how people say when it's hot outside, when it's sunny outside, don't wear dark colors, don't wear black, because it's attracted. It attracts. Dark colors attract the sunlight more than other colors. So it's the same thing in the spiritual. Imagine, and I've used this example time and time again on the channel. Imagine being in a dark room, and then you see a little bit of light somewhere in that room, a lit of light. You're gonna go towards it. You're gonna go towards that source of light. So in a way, that's what happens when you carry that true divine light, right? People who are filled with darkness, they will be attracted to you. Because in a way, your light is in a way illuminating a path for them to get out of that darkness. Okay? So many times what happens here is when you have that divine light on you and someone who is of darkness comes into your life, many times when you stay in the light completely, you stay in the light, you stand for the truth confidently, proudly. Many times what happens is your light ends up shining on that dark person to see, and it allows them to see their darkness. You know, there's some people who are in darkness and they don't even know. Some of them know, but they're in denial. But then when you bring it to light, they get guilty. They feel ashamed. And they have no choice but to see exactly what you are shining the light on. It's like you completely just shine a light on their shadow side, their dark side. It's like a flashlight. It's like you're pointing a flashlight at this person and you're showing them all the dark things about them. And so in a way, now it's up to them to change. You've illuminated their darkness. You've illuminated their darkness. Now they have no choice but to see their wrongs, but to see what they need to change. You illuminate their dark characteristics, how they like to lie, how they like to steal, how they like to manipulate, how they like to plot, they like to scheme, they like to sabotage, how they're hateful, they're lustful, they're greedy, they're envious, they're obsessive, they're bitter. You're literally shining it. You're shining a light on it so that they can see it for themselves. It's like you're putting a mirror in front of them so that they'll have no choice but to look at the person in the mirror and admit and see. They see it, and it's up to them to admit it and say, wow, I really do have these problems. Some people have problems that it's never been brought to their attention. They're so used to it. They're so comfortable with it until you snap them out of it and they're like, ooh, I really do have a jealousy problem. Ooh, I really can be very vindictive and revengeful. Ooh, I really was obsessed with that person. I really need to stop. Ooh, I really am competitive. The ones who want to change, they will use that as an opportunity to see what they need to correct. And it's a win-win. It's a win-win for both parties. You used your light to bring someone out of darkness. You use your light to shine. It's like a flashlight that you're shining on this person. You're like, yeah, this is the issues that you have. This is look at what you did here. Look at this. Look at this. And you're doing all of that by speaking the truth. Every time you speak the truth, it's like you're holding up a flashlight to that person and you're showing them all of the things that they're doing that is wrong. And the ones who truly want to change, they will listen. They will see exactly what you're saying and they will know. Some of them may admit it to you right then and there, like, yeah, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean. I do have this problem. I'll work on it. Some of them will be stubborn. They may, kind of be defensive, but then they go home. They go back home at night. I'm telling you, they go home at night and they think about it. And they're like, man, yeah, that person was right. I do have this problem. I do have, these issues. Okay. Those are the ones who want to change, right? I said, may your light shine on their darkness for them to see what needs to be changed. All you're doing is showing them who they are. All you're doing is shining a light on some learned behaviors and things like that. That's all you're doing. You're using your light. You're using the truth to shine a light. That's all you're doing. And it's so powerful. But remember what I said, the key is the ones who want to change, they will use that as an opportunity to correct their behavior. Now, let's talk about the people who don't want to change. Let's talk about them because I see some of the comments here, right? Right? Let's talk about the ones who don't want to change. Okay? The ones who see the light, right? As in they hear the truth. Remember, the truth and the light, they are the same. They are synonymous. The light is the truth. Okay? So imagine you speak the truth. You shine a light. You shine a light on their darkness, and they still don't change. Those are the ones who need to go. Those are the ones who you need to put physical distance between you and them, boundaries. We are called to flee from people who harm us, but we don't neglect them in the spirit. What do you do in circumstances like that, right? Where you've spoken the truth, they see the light. They know that they're in darkness, but they still choose the dark. They've already chosen what side they're on. You'll never catch a person of light mingling and mixing with the person of darkness. You'll never see that. Right? I was watching, I'm trying to remember who this was, who I was watching the person's name. And they were saying, they were referring to Jesus Christ and how he interacted with sinners, with all sorts of people. But there's a difference. There's a difference between, socially interacting with people versus keeping them in your personal life. Right? He sat and he ate with sinners. Jesus Christ did. He was amongst so many people. Right? But there's a difference. There's a difference between welcoming these people, keeping them close to you. It's dangerous to do that. It's dangerous, which is why I'm saying in cases like this, you put physical distance, boundaries. But you don't neglect them in the spirit. What you do is you pray for them. You pray for them for their healing. but you've already done your part. All you had to do was speak the truth. And when you spoke the truth, it shined a light on their darkness and it was brought to their attention. Right? It's like that flashlight. When you turn on that flashlight, has anyone ever, when people shine a flashlight at you, your eyes are like, you know what I'm saying? That's what you did. But they still choose to stay where they're at. They still choose to stay where they're at. So what do? You have someone who's on the other side. They're on the other team. Right? You've already done your part. So all you can really do, because I know someone asked the question, I read it in the chat. So all you can really do is go about your business. Keep on praying for them, praying for their healing, sending them love and light. Go about your business and try to touch the other people who are willing to change. I want to quote Acts 26, verses 17 to 18. And it says this about truth speakers. This is what the Bible says about truth speakers. I am sending you to them. Who is them? The lost. To open their eyes and turn them from darkness to light and from the power of Satan to God, so that they may receive forgiveness of sins and a place among those who are sanctified by faith in me. God says, I am sending you, the truth speaker, the one who carries his strength and is courageous enough to speak up when you see something. The ones who will not be silent witnesses and bystanders. He said, my truth speaker, I am sending you to them. And it's here. I'm reading the scripture right now. It's here in parentheses. The lost. Those who are lost are those who are in the dark. When you're in the dark, you don't see anything. It's dark. Which is why I use that example all the time. Imagine being in a dark room. There's nothing. And then you suddenly see a pitch of light. You're going to naturally go towards it. You're going to naturally go towards it. That's what you're doing to these people who we encounter, who we live amongst. That's what's happening. They're in the dark. And you're shining the light and they're coming towards you. Because he is sending you to them, the lost, to open their eyes and turn them from darkness to light and from the power of Satan to God, so that they may receive forgiveness of sins and a place among those who are sanctified by faith in me. So when your light illuminates the darkness that they've been in, they will change. They will choose to change. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. That's the weapon. You speak the truth. The light illuminates their darkness. And then if they want to, they will come out of the dark and into the light. And you've won. You have won over. You have brought over someone into the light. And that pleases God like you could never imagine. Because the light has won over a soul that the devil wanted for himself. The devil knows where he's going to go. He knows what his outcome is. So his goal is to take other souls with him. So what happens when someone from the dark, when you take someone from darkness and you help them cross over into the light, the devil gets angry. But God and all the divine angels, they rejoice. You have won over another soul. You have helped another brother or sister in Christ to cross over. Whether they cross over or not, that's their business. You just did your part. You did your part by shining the light for them on their darkness. Whether they cross over or not, that's their business. But it becomes problematic when you get too invested, where you see that there is a person who knows the truth. And these are dangerous people. These are dangerous people, you guys, who know the truth, who see their darkness. They know they're in darkness. They see the light, but they choose to stay in darkness. Those are dangerous people. And what tends to happen is when you don't love yourself enough, you go chasing after them. And what happens is, as you're chasing after them, you end up leaving the light and going into their darkness. And now you are in darkness as well. Acts 26, Kat. Acts 26, verse 17 to 18. That's dangerous. Okay? I'll quote all the verses, you guys. I'll put it in the comment section and in the description box. Don't worry. I have them all right here. I want you guys to understand how powerful the light is. Right? Because God is light. In the absence of God, there's darkness. So I want you to know how powerful the light is so that you can understand that that's all that you need to fight this battle. You don't have to go chasing after them. You don't even have to be in close proximity to them. Because the light is so bright and so powerful. It can touch people. It can touch people from miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away. That's why you shouldn't feel bad to put boundaries. When you know the power of the light, you know that that's the only tool that you need. You don't need to go chasing after them. You don't need to go and grab their hand and take them with you. You don't need to go and visit them. You don't need to go and visit their home. They don't need to be in your close space. You don't need to shout and be angry and get out of character. That light, that truth is the light. That's literally all you need to do. Just speak the truth. And it shines the brightest light on darkness. That's all you need. That's all you need. But when you go trying to wrestle with them in the flesh, you go chasing after them, you're leaving the light and you're going into darkness to try to get them out of darkness, and you yourself, you're in darkness now. Now you're broken, you're hurt, you're disappointed. Now you're just as lost and confused. Now you stoop down to their level. Right? Now you got to find your way out of the dark. Let the light, let the truth be your weapon. And let the light be your solution. The light is the solution. Let the truth be your weapon and let the light be the solution. That's how you encounter people like this. And you know what really bothers the ones who don't want to change? Many times, and this is just human nature, we have, as human beings, we have pride and we have ego. And there's nothing wrong with pride and ego, right? That's how we become dignified. But too much pride and too much ego is a problem. It becomes a problem, right? When we use it as a defense mechanism so that we don't have to change. So what do we do? What do we do when we encounter people who have too much pride and ego and they really don't want to change? And many times when you speak the truth, this is bound to happen. Don't let it discourage you. Don't allow yourself to be gaslit. Many times when you speak the truth, many times, they will try to argue with you. They will try to justify. They will try to be defensive. They will try to make up excuses. They will try to come at you to attack you. And, they will try to argue with you. Those are all distractions. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Those are all weapons of distractions. Because now the focus is not on the truth. Now the focus is on the argument, the fight, the conflict, the tension, the disagreement. Right? Now you're screaming across the room, shouting. Now you yourself, you don't like that person, you hate that person. Right? It's all distractions from the truth. So what do you do in that case? What do you do in that case where you're trying to speak the truth and the person is arguing, the person is defensive, the person is trying to get you out of character, the person is justifying what they did, excusing what they did, going back and forth with you, arguing with you, countering you? I just told you, your weapon is the truth that you speak. The solution is the light. There's nothing more that you need to do. You don't need to chase after them. You don't need to argue with them. You don't need to go back and forth with them. You don't need to counter them. You don't need to add more fuel to the fire. You already did your part by speaking the truth. What do you do in situations like that? You walk away. Silence. That's how you respond. Silence. And I tell you, you guys, it beats them up when you're not willing to tussle. You're not willing to fight with them. You're not willing to go back and forth with them. You're silenced because people like that, they want to distract you from the truth. Right? They want the truth to be covered up by the arguments. Now you guys are arguing. Now you're getting out of character. Now you're kind of making, now you're looking some type of way because you're getting out of character. It completely dismisses the truth. When you speak the truth and then you start going back and forth, it completely dismisses everything that you just tried to do. It completely diminishes the truth that you just spoke. And that's what these sorts of stubborn people want. That's what they want. But in order for them to go back and forth with you, you got to give them something. You have to give them a reaction. Right? You have to say something to them in order for them to give it back. You know what I'm saying? In order for there to be any exchange, you have to be an active participant. But when you're not an active participant, what do they have to use against you? They don't have your time. They don't have your attention. They don't have your energy. They don't have your reaction. There's nothing now that they can use to distract people from the truth that you just tried to speak. So what you do in situations like that, silence. You already spoke the truth. That's your weapon. The light is already shining. That's the solution. It's out. It's out. Their darkness has been exposed. It's out for everybody to see. Right? So if they try to go back and forth with you, silence. I'm telling you guys, when you respond to people with silence, it kills them. It kills it kills them because it forces them to sit there. It forces them to sit there and really think about what they did. It forces them to sit there and understand what you said. People love to go back and forth and argue because it distracts them from having to actually listen to you. It distracts them from having to actually understand you. They want you to fight with them so that you can say something or do something out of character. And now you're the bad guy. Now they can use that against you and do this and do, you know what I'm saying? They're just looking for distractions, anything that will prevent them from having to sit there and admit their wrongs and see what they need to correct. Is distractions, is what I'm trying to say. When they try to argue with you, when they try to project, when they try to deflect, they're looking for something, any sort of distraction that will blind them, that will distract them from the truth. But when you don't give them anything to use, they have no choice but to literally sit there in silence and listen and see what the light is showing them. I'm telling you, nothing bothers those sorts of people who like to project, they like to deflect, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know, they like to do all that kind of stuff. Nothing bothers them more when you just speak your truth and you go in peace. You say, you know what? I'm not arguing with you. They want you to argue. They want you to do something so that they can use that against you, so that they can use that to disprove what you just proved, so that they can use that to convince people not to listen to you. They're using that. They want you to retaliate. They want you to go back and forth so that they can use that to diminish all that you just tried to do, so that they can use that to cover up the truth. Is this making sense, you guys? I really hope it is, because these are valuable. These are valuable lessons and strategies that you can. It's great wisdom. That's how the enemy tries to counter the truth. When you shine a light on their darkness, many of the people who have chosen to stay in darkness, what they will try to do is provoke you, go back and forth with you. Because when you start getting out of character and going back and forth with them, now everyone is like distracted. Now everyone's trying to calm you and that person down. Now the focus is on the argument. The focus is on the tension and the conflict. The focus is not on the truth that you just spoke. The focus is not on the light that was completely exposing what they did. Now everyone's focusing on you, the two of you shouting, the two of you going back and forth, the two of you being messy, it's all distractions. If you get it, you get it. Exactly. If you really want to listen, you'll understand what I'm saying. Exactly. If you get it, you get it. So that's also a tactic that people who have chosen to be in darkness, that's how they like to counter truth speakers. So just know you will encounter two different types of people, truth speakers. You will encounter the ones who will listen, and they'll say, you know what? Yeah, you were right. You'll listen. Even if they don't say, even right then and there, if they're a little bit defensive and so, you know what I'm saying? They're a little bit defensive. They may mumble something under their breath, but I assure you they're going home at the end of the day. They're sitting in bed overnight. They're thinking about what you did. I mean, what you said, and that they have a problem. Not everyone will admit that you're right. And the thing is, you're not looking for that. You're not looking for their what is the word? You're not looking for credit from them, right? You look towards God for that, for those things, those sorts of things, right? So there's two types of people: the ones who will listen, okay, and they will your light will illuminate their darkness and show them all that they need to change, that they need to correct about themselves. Okay. Some of them will admit right then and there that they were wrong, and change. Some of them will kind of be a little defensive. Then they go home at night and they think about it. But then the second category of people are the dangerous ones who they know what they're doing is wrong. They know. I'm telling you, the second type of people, please be careful. The second type of people who we just talked about are the ones who are aware of the darkness that they're in and they choose to thrive there. Okay. And so what they do is they get you to go chasing after them. Next thing you know, you've left the light. Now you're in their darkness. They've led you. Next thing you know, they've led you on a path of darkness and you're not in the light anymore. Right? Those are the same sorts of people who know when you're shining the truth, when you're shining the light on their darkness, they know, oh my, this person just spoke the truth. Now the light is shining on me and what I didn't want to be, what I was hiding. Let me see how I can still distract people. Let me try to argue with this person so that now the attention isn't on what I'm being exposed for doing. Now the attention isn't on the truth that this person is speaking. Now the attention is on the argument that I intentionally started with them. Now the focus is on this person who I managed to get out of character. Now everyone's completely distracted from the truth and the light. Does that make sense, you guys? That is how people, those sorts of people, the dangerous ones, the ones who are aware of darkness, they choose the side of darkness. That's how they may try to counter you when you speak the truth. Okay? It is by using weapons of distractions, trying to aggravate you, trying to argue with you, go back and forth. You're too powerful to be going back and forth with these low-level demonic spirits. You're too powerful for that. So when you find yourself in situations where you speak the truth and there's someone who's trying to go back and forth, trying to aggravate you, trying to be messy, trying to exaggerate things, they're trying to distract. They're trying to distract people from what you are doing, which is shining a light on something. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've seen things like that before, where I see someone who's coming from a good place. Okay. I see someone who's coming from a good place and they speak the truth, but they don't have the restraint. They don't have the self-discipline to calm their temperament. So they get aggravated because the other person doesn't want them to talk, or the other person doesn't want them to speak the truth. So the other person tries to frustrate them, aggravate them, cause drama. Then the truth speaker is fighting, cussing, yelling, and I'm like, you literally are you're literally putting all the focus on this argument right now, on this fight right now, and you literally just diminish everything that you were just trying to do. And that's exactly the goal. That's their goal. It is to diminish what you're trying to do. So it's silence. You speak the truth. Okay. We speak the truth. The light shines. And whether they want to cross over or not, that's their business. We don't go back and forth. We don't go. Have you guys ever been in situations where somebody wants to go back and forth with you and you don't give them the chance? Oh my gosh, they get so angry. They get so angry when you don't fuel their drama. You know what I'm saying? When you don't even allow them to go back and forth with you, you just leave them alone with peace because you know you already did your part. The light is already illuminating things. And you're not going to allow them to be yelling and shouting and this and this and this and that and that and that. You're not going to fuel it. And they'll try to distract people from the truth in so many ways. They'll try to be messy. They'll try to do this. They'll try to do that. Silence. Silence. Some of them may even try to reach out and talk to you. You better just silence. You know, I do this thing sometimes when I know that people are coming to me to cause drama or they want me to react. They want me to give them something so that they can use against me. I look at them and I say, be blessed. And I walk away. Okay, be blessed. Okay, be blessed. Because they want you to say something so bad so that they can use that against you to diminish the work that you're trying to do. They want something, sometimes they'll even try to make it a topic of discussion. No, we're not making anything a topic of discussion. I said what I said. The light is already shining. That's it. Be blessed. Y'all are laughing at me. you know? Some of them will try to come and give you false apologies, and you can see it. You can see it from their spirit. You know that they're not sorry. They're just sorry that they got caught. They're just sorry that they got in trouble. But even when they try to come up to you and give a false apology, an insincere apology, don't go back and forth. Just be like, okay, be blessed. I'm telling you, because they're looking for some sort of distraction to try to diminish the truth and the light that you just brought to the situation. They're trying to diminish you and what you said and the truth. They're trying to do that, but you have to give them something that they can use against you. So when you give them silence or you keep your response short and sweet, I'm telling you guys, that's another thing that we should talk about. How powerful silence is. Boy, it drives them crazy. It drives them crazy because they're like, okay, I know I did wrong. This person is silent. This person isn't really shouting. They're not yelling. They're not going back and forth. They're not participating in my drama. I'm trying to use something against them. They're not giving me anything. They start to get really paranoid. Okay? And many times that's when guilt comes in. Guilty conscience. Guilty conscience. And in a way they realize your silence is so powerful because this is what your silence says, that their misbehavior will not be tolerated and that you're not giving them anything, not even your energy, not even your attention, not even your response, that they're not even worthy of your attention. It makes a clear statement that there is no room for their misbehavior, for their misconduct, that there's no room for it. It will make them feel so limited, so restricted, so confined. Because there's nothing from you that you're giving to them. You're not giving them anything. You're depriving them. It's a clear statement. Your silence, your lack of presence in their life, your lack of participant in their life, right? Your lack of energy, your lack of attention, it makes them realize that, wow, like I really don't have any room to be. I really don't, this is not tolerated. It makes them realize that, wow, like I really need to stop. It makes them realize that there's no place, there's no room for them to continue to thrive, for them to continue to act out with their nonsense. There's no room, there's no place for that. And don't get me started, when you respond with silence, and especially when you set boundaries with them or you cut them off, ooh, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes when you do that. When you respond with silence and you set strong boundaries and you limit the interactions that you have with them, you know what I'm saying? That speaks loud and clear that they have no room in your life if they can't change. That you want nothing to do with them if they can't change. It sends a clear message of you either change your behavior or leave. Or leave. It sends a loud message of what you stand for and what you don't stand for. Sometimes there's a way that you can teach people without having to do too much talking. Especially when you've already called them out, you already spoke your truth. And I feel like this is why it's so important for us to be truth speakers. There's some people who know what other people are doing is wrong, and they don't speak up. They don't say it. They are aware of it, but they don't say it. And then they wonder why. They wonder why things just continue to fall apart. They wonder why that person keeps on pushing them. They wonder why the situation just continues to get worse and worse and worse. Is because you're seeing the problem, but you're not bringing a solution. You're not speaking the truth to shine a light on the issue or to shine a light on their darkness. So the person will continue to misbehave. The person is not changing because you did not speak the truth to shine the light on them. So there's no change behavior. Nothing was done. The truth was not spoken. So why would you expect things to change? They're going to keep on doing it over and over, especially the ones, especially the ones who are aware that what they're doing is wrong. They know the truth. They see the light and they know that they are in darkness. They want you to keep silent. They want you to be quiet so that they can keep on doing it because in their head, they think that they're getting away with it. When it's almost like, it's like that quote, silence is consent. Okay? You can use the power of silence after you have spoken the truth. And there's nothing more that you need to say or do. That's when you can use the power of silence. But how in the world are you trying to use silence when the truth was never spoken? Yeah, keep quiet, keep silent. Let me keep on doing this and getting away with it. Yeah, keep quiet. Let me keep on pushing you, pushing your buttons, taking advantage of you. Yeah, keep quiet. Let me continue to thrive in darkness. Let me continue to plot, scheme, manipulate, and be corrupt. Yeah, keep quiet. Especially the ones, and there are some people where they don't know the truth, right? They don't know the truth, but you know the truth and you don't say anything, and then you're getting angry at them. The person doesn't know the truth. They don't know any better. They don't know any better. It's your truth that's going to shine a light and bring them out of darkness. you know? As for the ones who do know better but choose to not do better, as for the ones who do know the truth, they do know the light but choose to stay in dark, your silence tells them that they're getting away with it. They think in their head, they're thinking you have no clue what they've been doing, so they're going to keep on doing it. The ones who are just unaware and naive, to them, your silence is their consent. You're silent, so it means that they must be doing something right. There must be no problem. Right? Is this making sense, you guys? I had to talk to someone about this. And it was a very powerful person. It was actually a pastor who I had to talk about this to. I told him, I said, you are aware that the people, I visited a church a handful of times, and there was a very powerful pastor, but his people, some of the people who were in his church, were just ungodly, you know? And when I spoke to him about it, he said he knew, but he likes to keep quiet. And I said, then you must be afraid of people leaving. I said, you must be afraid of people leaving then. So are you truly in your faith? If you can't even call people out because you don't want to cause trouble, and I told him, I said, and you're wondering why things are just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse is because there's nothing that's being said. And that's the thing with me. I speak the truth to anyone. I don't care who you are. I don't care what titles you have. I don't care what your age is. I don't care. I don't care if you're even older than me. As long as I'm not insulting you, I'm not harming you, I will speak the truth. So that's the power, you guys. That is the power of speaking the truth. The truth is light. And when the truth is not spoken, darkness thrives. The lies continue, the schemes continue, the corruption continues, the exploitation continues, the sabotage continues, the deceit, the deception continues. That's the consequences. Those are the consequences of not speaking the truth. The things of darkness continue to thrive. It doesn't get any better. I promise you. It doesn't get any better. And many times sometimes we'll be put in circumstances where we speak the truth and we have to leave. Should we talk about that? That's for some of you who may find yourself in false places. Okay? That's for some of you who may find yourself in false places. And I've been through that, where you find yourself in false organizations, right? Institutions, communities, establishments, territories that are false. And so the people who are in this territory, they all have a collective mindset, a collective mentality. And you will stand out. You will be the black sheep. The black sheep is the truth speaker. When you find yourself being the black sheep, leave. It is saying that you are amongst people who are not like-minded. And you can only put up with so many challenges. It's like you have a group of people, a collective of people who are against you. It's like one versus groups of people. That's unrealistic. Don't do that to yourself. Get up and leave. Sometimes you may even find yourself in these circumstances amongst people who you thought were your friends or even family. Some of you come from families where you are the black sheep because you choose to not follow them. You know, you choose to not follow their way of life. And there comes a time where you become an adult and you must go out there and make a life for yourself to choose the path of righteousness. Just because you come from the same family doesn't mean you have to be the same like them. Just because they gave birth to you doesn't mean that you are them or you have to be like them. Just because they are your sibling doesn't mean that you guys carry the same spirit. Just because they are your parents doesn't mean that you guys carry the same spirit. You guys may look the same physically. You may carry physical characteristics, right? You may have even learned some bad behavior from the people who you come from, but there's nothing that can be learned that cannot be unlearned. Learned behavior can be unlearned. So just because you come from them does not mean that you carry their same spirit. So absolutely, there are times where you speak the truth and you may be around a collective of people who understand and they see what you're saying and they cross over, you bring them into the light and things change as a collective. But then there are some times where you find yourself in false places, right? You find yourself in false places with a collective of people who refuse to change. You know, black sheep, you stand out. You stand out. No one else is like you. And if you stay, they will chew you up. It'll get too hot for you to bear. If you stay, they will create a hostile environment for you to the point where you just can't take it anymore and you have to go. And do not wait for it to get to that point. Where now you don't just have one enemy or two enemy or three enemy. Now you have 10, 20, 30 groups. Don't do that to yourself. And many times we become the black sheep and it's a sign. Is God telling us that, hey, you're in a place that you're not meant to be. Did you guys know that? When it starts getting too hot for you, the hostility, starts getting just too much for you to tolerate. It's just too much. They're just pushing you around. They can't give you a break. Everyone's on your back. God is like, yeah, I'm making it hot. I'm making it hot for you. I'm making it too much for you because it's a sign that you don't need to be there. You need to go, 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 go. And the more you stay, the more problems will arise. The more you'll get pushed over, taken advantage of. God is saying, I'm trying to show you that you're not supposed to be here. These are not your tribe. These are not your people. Get out and go find your tribe. Get out and go find your people. Get out. Go on a different path, which is your rightful path. God is saying, go, 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 go. This is not where you need to be. This is not a part of the plan that I have for you. And it goes back to that saying, that rejection was your protection. That rejection was your redirection onto a much better path for you, your rightful path for you. So yes, there will come a time where truth speakers, you speak the truth, regardless of who agrees with you or who doesn't agree with you. Let me tell y'all something. There is no shame in being a righteous person. There is no shame in doing the right thing. Sometimes you may be around people who try to make you feel like, oh, you're lame, you know, you care too much. Why do you care? It's not happening to you, it's happening to them. Why do you care? Oh, you're doing too much. Oh, you're just so lame, or, this and blah, blah, blah. Those are the losers who want to make you feel bad for being righteous. But little do they know, the reason why you are so blessed is because of your righteousness. The reason why you're so protected, the reason why you're so abundant, the reason why you progress more than they progress is because of your righteousness. The same traits that you have that they want to bully you for, make you feel bad for, laugh at you for, make you feel like a lame person for, are the same traits that they lack. And that's why they're not blessed like you. Sometimes the same traits that people try to bully you for or outcast you for are the same traits that they lack and that they need to be on your level, to be where you're at. The ones who are like, oh, why do you care? And this and this and this and this. But absolutely, what do you do in situations like that? You speak the truth. I'm telling you guys, speaking the truth, it helps you. It benefits you in so many ways. That's how you find out that you are the black sheep. Did you guys know that? Speaking the truth. Some of you were around people who you didn't know were false until you spoke the truth. They heard the truth, and then you saw their reaction. You saw how they started to act different or how they went against you. The truth shined a light on who was false. I'm telling you, speaking the truth, it protects you in so many ways. Some of you didn't know that you were different from other people. Some of you didn't know how nasty character some of the people in your lives were. How nasty some of your friends, your relatives, even the people who you were dating, you didn't know how ignorant and just horrible they were until the truth was spoken, either by you or by another person, and then you saw their reaction. And that's when they were exposed. And you realize, ooh, I'm around false people. Ooh, I'm around people who are not like-minded. Ooh, I'm around people who are against what I stand for. And then you were able to find your way and leave those people alone. It helped you. Sometimes speaking the truth helps you understand the kind of territory that you're in. There are different territories. There's some territories where people get along, people work hard and they get along. There's some territories where it's like it's constant what's the word, competition. There's some territories where it's like no one is real, no one is genuine friends. No one really has friends. They're competing with each other. They're sabotaging each other. They're doing this, they're doing that. But you didn't know. You didn't know until the truth came to light. And now you're like, ooh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, that now I'm aware of the kind of territory that I'm in so I can find my way out. Or if it's a situation where you can't find your way out right then and there, you're like, ooh, now I know how to navigate my way around these sorts of people, mind my business, protect myself, not trust these people now that I know this is the kind of territory that I'm in. The truth helps. The truth benefits both parties. It benefits the one who is speaking the truth, and it benefits the one who is hearing the truth. Sometimes speaking the truth will even help you to decide who can be in your life, who can be a part of your team, who can come with you, who can go with you, and who has to stay. Right? Sometimes we like certain people. Sometimes we become impressed by certain people until we see their mentality and we're like, "Wait a second. I like this person. I wanted them to be my friend, or I wanted them to be my lover, or I wanted, to be acquaintances, or I wanted them to be business partners, or I wanted to take this person in and promote them and support them, I wanted to help open doors for this person." But when that truth came to light and you saw how they responded, you're like, "Oh no, honey." you know, you're like, "Oh no, let me go and choose a better person to share my blessings with." The truth is so, um, the truth is so beneficial. The truth is, speaking the truth is so beneficial. I'm reading you guys' comments, right? Sometimes, and what is so important about speaking the truth, right? In situations where you speak the truth, it's almost like, I'm trying to put it into words. Give me a second, you guys. It gives people, right? When you speak the truth and you make it clear that there's no tolerance for their behavior. When you speak the truth, it tells them that you are fully aware of what they're doing. So then that puts them in a tight space, right? It makes them feel uncomfortable to continue to do what they're doing because you're pretty much saying, "I see you, I'm aware of it." So now they're not going to be as bold and free to continue to do it. And when you set boundaries, when you detach, when you use the power of silence to respond to them, it makes them understand that they will not be tolerated, that they're not tolerated. And so in a way, what it does to some people, it's almost like the guilty conscience, it beats them, right? And some of them may even go back and try to reverse what they did. I'm telling you, speaking the truth is a powerful thing. The truth is your weapon. The light is the solution. Many times when these sorts of people know that, oh, other people are aware of what I'm doing, you know, do we have a moderator in here? Let me see. Let me see here. Okay, thank you, Brad. Thank you so much. But back to what I was saying is sometimes, many times, when you speak the truth and you allow the light to do its thing, the person on the receiving end of it, right? At the end of the day, the person on the receiving end of it, they may even become so guilty, right? Because it's like they know that there's no room for them to continue doing what they're doing. Okay. And it almost forces them, it's in a way, it may force them to go back and try to reverse what they did. Next thing you know, the same tongue that they used to lie on you is the same tongue that they're using to speak the truth, right? Next thing you know, they're going back and trying to unroot the bad seeds that they planted for you. Next thing you know, they're trying to reverse. Okay? Next thing you know, they're trying to reverse the things that they have done. They're going back. Next thing you know, they're like, you know what? I want to surrender to this. And many times, this is what happens when you speak the truth amongst a collective of people, right? Who are also like minded. Sometimes, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this other scenario where you are amongst a good collective of people, where you are in a good territory, a good institution, a good organization, you know, a good establishment. But then you have a few people who are trying to pollute, it. And if you're not careful, thank you, Holy Spirit, if you're not careful, you may end up driving yourself away from a good thing, from good people, places, and things, because you've allowed the few. You've allowed the few to make you feel, you've allowed the few to represent the collective. Does that make sense, you guys? Sometimes you will be in good places with good people. Sometimes you will be exactly where you need to be, right? But then the enemy may send His agents, the devil may send his agents, and his agents are always a few. His agents are always a minority. They're not the majority. Good always outweighs the bad. There are more good people than bad people. The good always outweighs the bad. But sometimes when we give too much power to the enemy, we end up exaggerating their representation, as in we end up taking them to be bigger than what they really are. Don't exaggerate. Let's talk about this. Don't exaggerate the enemy. Don't exaggerate the false sense of power that the enemy wants you to think they have. Because many of you, right, are headed to places where you're meant to be, you're destined to be. Your name has been called in certain rooms and places, certain territories and establishments and organizations and institutions. That is where you are being called, or you were called. But the enemy wants you to feel unsettled. The enemy wants you to feel uncomfortable. The enemy wants you to feel like you don't belong, that it's not the right place for you, or the right job for you, or the right institution, organization for you, when actually it is. And the majority who are there are good, are like-minded. But the devil will send some of his agents, a few. And if you're not smart, you may encounter a few of his agents, and all of a sudden you feel like everyone is like this. The whole place is against me. Everyone is bad. Everyone. Da, da, da. Now you're allowing the minority to represent the majority. Now you're giving more power to the enemy than what they really have. So let's talk about it. What do you do in scenarios like this, where you are amongst a good collective of people? You are in a good place, a good territory. You're in the right place that you're meant to be. But then you have a few people, the few minorities. You have a few people who you see are not joining in with the collective, who you see they're not on the same page as the collective. They're out here having their own agenda, right? Fueling their own agenda. What do you do? What do you do in situations like that? You speak the truth. You speak the truth. The light shines. The light shines on what you see the few people doing, the few toxic people doing. Because those toxic people, they want you to feel out of place. They want you to feel like you don't belong there so you can leave, when really the truth is they don't belong there. They want you to feel uncomfortable when really you're the one who has the power to make them feel uncomfortable, to make them feel unsettled, to make them know that they have no choice but to leave. They want to make you feel outcasted. They want to make you feel uncomfortable. They want to make you feel rejected. They want to make you feel like you don't belong. They want to make you feel like you're not good enough for something, a person, place, or thing. But truly, they want to make you feel like you're the black sheep. You're the one that's different. When you're really amongst a good collective of people, they're the ones who are different. They're the ones who are trying to sneak into places, territories, and establishments, institutions that they're not meant to be in. And the goal is to take over this specific territory, drive out the good people, and bring in more bad people. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And you see this a lot. You see this a lot, this tactic of the enemy. You see it a lot in new places, new foundations, new establishments, new foundations that are being built, new organizations, establishments, territories, companies, businesses, structures, new, right? Because it's at the beginning of the foundation. It's at the very beginning when things are being built, where the enemy will try to send some agents to take over the place, to enforce their own code of conduct, right? And to rush out. I hope this is making sense. To rush out the good people. So the good people leave, right? Because they don't have the discernment to see what's going on. They don't have the discernment to see that really they're where they need to be. Really, they're in a good place. But it's just a few who are trying to make themselves more powerful, and they're running out the good people because they're bringing in bad people into this territory to take over. Don't exaggerate the enemy. Don't exaggerate the enemy. Don't give the enemy power. Because many times the only power the enemy has is the power that you give them. Okay? Many, many times, you guys, always the good outweighs the bad. There is more good than there is bad. So many times when you see that there is bad, it's really just a few people. It's really just a few people. And when you speak the truth in situations like that, when you speak the truth, immediately the collective of good people, they find out what's going on and they drive out those false people because they never had a place there in the first place. They were trying to infiltrate. They were wolves in sheep's clothing. They were trying to blend in. But the agenda was to take over, right? That's what you do. And many times that's what it is. A few times, the example that we used before this example, it was the example where you're in a false place. You're in a false territory. You're in a false establishment, institution, organization, a false structure that you're not supposed to be in the first place. And you're amongst a collective of people who have the same bad mentality. So when you speak the truth, you end up being the black sheep. You end up being outcasted, and that's for you to leave. Those are just, a few cases, rare cases where you will have to leave. But many times you will not have to leave. Many times it is the enemy, it is the agents who will be driven out. Because the collective of the people are good, because the institution is good, because the territory is good, the organization is good, the company is good, the business is good, the establishment is good, the community is good. You just have a few agents of the devil that are trying to pollute the environment, pollute the surrounding. Right? So that the good people can be driven out. And the few bad people can bring in more bad people and take over the place. Be careful. Okay? So it's just a matter of distinguishing the two. Distinguishing, where you're at. Is this making sense, you guys? Okay, good. Because the enemy loves to create illusions, The enemy loves to create illusions to make you feel uncomfortable so that you will miss out on your blessings, right? Many of you have been or you will be sent to certain places that may be different. It may be uncomfortable at first, but it's not necessarily bad. Many times you're actually upgrading, you're elevating in life. So you're stepping out of your comfort zone, but you're still right where you need to be. You're still on the right path. But if you're not careful, the enemy may send some false people to you to try to make you feel like you don't belong. Okay? And the way to distinguish that is when we lead ourselves instead of allowing God to lead us. I have led myself to certain places that were just horrible. I had no business being there. The people there I had nothing in common with. I had no business being there. Of course, that was during my naive times, and I learned a lot, you know. But that's what happens when we lead ourselves instead of being led by God. We end up because there's a difference. There's a difference between leading yourself and being led by God. When we lead ourselves, what really can we see? We can only see what people show us. But when we're led by God, God sees everything, right? He sees the heart of man. He sees the conversations that they have about us behind closed doors. He sees what they do when nobody's looking. And he will never lead us in a place for us to get harmed or hurt or taken advantage of. So when you know for sure, when you know that God has called you to a place, you know that that is exactly where you need to be. Okay? But when you lead yourself to a place, right? Then you find out it's false and you don't need to be there. And then you end up praying to God to get you out of the situation. And God is looking at you like, who told you to go? Who told you to go there? Did I direct you to go there? Did I lead you there? Now God is looking at you like, you led yourself and now you need my help out of it. You know? So that's what helps you whenever you're in a situations where you're wondering, am I supposed to be here? Well, if God led you there, absolutely. But if you were wandering and you led yourself there, then most likely, you know, you're not supposed to be there. Okay? Especially when you're seeing the collective, the mindset of the collective, then most likely you are the black sheep. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and end the reading. Thank you guys so very much for spending time with me on this beautiful Sunday. I truly appreciate your support. I really hope that this message resonated with you. I hope it's of great help. Okay, I'm going to leave it up. Thank you guys so very much. Take care, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.